Hi, and welcome to this practicum class. If you'd like to start by just finding any easy seated position on your mat with your legs crossed. If this isn't a comfortable position for you, you might like to have some props around. I've got a block and I've got a blanket which can make a great cushion or bolster. If you find sitting cross-legged tricky, you can sit on a bit of a blanket or a cushion or a block. So settle yourself in here. Take a deep breath. Find a bit of rest. Greet yourself here on the mat. This cross-legged position, easy pose, Sukhasana, is where we're going to start. If you could bring your hands onto your thighs, palms upwards. Think about the energy coming up through your spine, through the top of the head, but keep the spine in a natural curved position. The theme of today's class is Pratyahara. It's one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and it means withdrawal of the senses. And so this class has been planned with the intention that it should support you to stop worrying about the outside distractions of the world, of work and family and friends, social media and all the day-to-day pressures. And instead bring your attention inwards, inside your own body and your own spirit, finding a sense of peace within. We're going to start with a meditation, some chanting. So in order to bring the peace inwards, I'd like you to set that intention by turning the palms down, drawing all your attention away from outside stimulation, letting go of the sounds around you, of the cat meowing at the door, of anything else which might be calling your attention. Take some time out for you. We're going to start by chanting Om, a very famous sound. It's said to be the sound of the universe and everything in it. And I've chosen this because it's such a simple sound. I think it supports the aim of tuning out from all the complex matters of the modern world. So we're going to start with an in-breath and then make this sound on the out-breath. I'm going to repeat it 5 times so you can listen or you can join in as you choose. But at the end of each Om, there will also be a little silence before we start again. So breathing in. Om. If you haven't closed your eyes already, you might like to. I want you to notice the natural pattern of your breath. Don't force it to do anything outside the ordinary. Just notice how your body moves with each in and out. And for our meditation, we're going to do something called counting Zazen, which is simply counting the breaths. We're going to count each inhalation and then let go on the exhalation. We're going to count 1 to 10. If your breaths fall out of pattern with my counting, that's completely fine. So, breathing in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let your eyes float open and the palms turn back upwards. Hopefully you'll already feel a little bit more at ease than when you first came to the mat. We're now going to enter into some standing postures, and then we'll find some seated postures, folds and twists before coming into rest at the end of the class. So, our first position is going to be downward facing dog, but I'd like to start on all fours, just so that we can really feel into all the corners of the body. Place your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips, and just find a natural position here. Lean back and lean forwards, noticing the feeling of the weight coming into the hands. Spread all the fingers wide, ready to create a nice space for your downward facing dog. Tuck your toes under at the back, and then push the hips up towards the ceiling, finding a V shape. You can keep the knees bent if you'd like to. I've recently had a bit of a back injury, so I'm going to do that myself on one side. Draw the abdomen in towards the spine, and let the head hang loose. Check that the heels are behind your feet and they're parallel to each other. Really draw up through the arms, right all the way up the spine to the pelvis. I'm going to spend one more breath here, and then bring the left foot in towards the centre. And if you're comfortable to, bring the right leg up. Doesn't matter how high, it's not a competition. It's just about how you feel in your body and what feels good for you. And then bending that knee in towards the chest, bring it forwards and place the right foot down between the hands or near them. Set the left foot down at a bit of an angle. And then on inhalation, bring the arms up either side of the head, keeping that front knee bent over the ankle there. The most important thing here in Warrior One, keep the pelvis facing forward. Make sure the knee doesn't sag outwards. You can bring your hands to your hips if it's a lot of hard work for you. Keep the energy really pushing down the back leg into the outside edge of the foot. On your next inhalation, I want you to bring the arms up either side. And as you exhale, bring the arms down and turn to face the long edge of the mat. Adjust your back foot so that it's parallel to that short edge. Bring the gaze to the middle finger of the front hand. Have a sense of energy flowing through the arms here, connecting yourself, to the rest of the universe. As you bend the right elbow, bring it down to the right thigh, tilt the pelvis, and bring the top hand up and over. Looking to that top hand if you can. If not, you can bring the hand to the hip again. Wherever you are, try and make sure your hip stays underneath and you're not poking your bum out the back. We're going to spend one more breath here, and then bring that top hand right down to the floor near the front foot, the other hand down, joins it. Rest your leg in front of you for pigeon pose. Now, some people might feel comfortable with their shin quite parallel to the front of the mat. Others might prefer to have it more folded. If this is a very deep stretch for you, you might find a blanket or a block and tuck it under your pelvis on that side. Whatever you need to be comfortable here. And we're going to walk the hands forward. Rest the head down wherever you're comfortable. Might be here, might be on the mat. I'm going to count 5 breaths here, counting Zazen just like we did at the start, but just for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Use your hands to come back to an upright position. Remove any blocks. Place your hands with those fingertips spread wide just in front of you. Tuck the toes of the back foot under and find that downward facing dog position again. Pelvis lifting up. Keeping the knees soft. Pushing the fingertips out. Drawing the abdomen in. Bring the right foot towards the centre. Lift the leg up now. Lift the leg. Notice how this feels in your body. Is it different to the first side? Keep your attention within. Notice any sensations. Respond to them making sure each position feels good for you. On your next inhale, bring the knee towards the chest, come forward and set that foot down. Turn the right foot inward this time. Take a deep breath. As you next inhale, come up to warrior one. Bring those arms up either side of the ears. Make sure the pelvis is facing forwards. And check the position of that front knee again. Pushing out into the back edge of the back foot. Inhale to reach up and exhale to turn to the long edge of the mat again, adjusting that back foot. Lower the arms. Making sure the pelvis now is really open, parallel to the long edge. Take your gaze to the middle finger of the left hand. I like to cast the glance down. Just make sure you're happy with the angle of that front knee. Keep pushing into the outer edge of the back foot. Bend the left elbow, take it to your thigh and reach up and over. Extended side angle. Take the gaze up if you can. Make any adjustments if you need to. Try and have a sense of one long line from the top of the top hand all the way along the side body and down to the back edge of that right foot. Bring the right hand down towards the foot, left hand meets it, and find your pigeon pose again. You might find it feels different on this side. You may or may not want to prop again this time. You make the decision for your body and how it feels today. Come down to the mat. Find somewhere your head can rest. And count 5 breaths again, but this time in silence and follow your own pace. Coming gently back up with the hands now. Find a seated position. Bring the legs around in front of you. And we're going to take some seated postures now. We're going to start off in staff pose, Dandasana, which seems very simple, but it can be quite challenging, especially if you have tight hamstrings or any lower back pain. In which case, you might like to try 2 different things. You can either try sitting on your bolster, which just makes the angle a little bit easier on the hamstrings. Or, if you have tightness there, you're feeling it here, you might like to try bending your legs, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. Also very good adjustment if you're pregnant. So, find a position that works for you. Having recently had a bit of a back injury myself, I'm going to keep my knees bent. But whether you're here or here, make sure your feet are pointing either forwards or upwards towards the ceiling. Just bring the hands to either side of the hips. Have a sense of growing up through the spine. The crown of the head pulling upwards. Shoulders are relaxed. Quieten your mind. Notice the pattern of your breath. Now, while we're here in Dandasana, we're going to take a very gentle twist, and it's the first in a series of twists, so please do take it easy in the first one. I'd like to bring your left hand around behind you just a little bit, grow taller, energy coming up through the top of the head. And bring your right hand around to the left leg, past that thigh, and very gently easing around to the spine to look past your shoulder if that's comfortable for you. We'll spend a few breaths here. Twisting postures can be very good for relaxation and also for digestion. There's no need to force anything. Always paying attention to what feels good physically and what brings a sense of well-being. On your next exhale, try to gradually unwind and come back to that centre position. If you've had bent knees, maybe you'd like to try straightening them. Maybe that feels more comfortable for you now. Wherever you are, make sure your feet's parallel. If you've got straight legs, engage those enough that the toes are pointing upwards towards the ceiling. Keeping length in the spine. Bring the right hand around behind you now just a little bit. Lift the left arm and bring it past the right thigh. And turn just gently to look past the right shoulder now. Keep a sense of length. Make sure those feet are still engaging and haven't just fallen to the sides. On your next exhale, come gently back to centre. From here, we're going to take a slightly deeper twist now. We're going to do half lords with the fishes. So you can use your hands if you like to support you to bend that left leg. You're going to bring the left foot past the right thigh and set it down on the mat there. Make sure you're still sitting straight and tall. You might just have a little wiggle. Bring your left hand around behind you, resting the fingertips on the mat. Reach forward with the right arm, and as you exhale, bring the elbow past that knee, giving you a little bit more room to twist here. Now, make sure those right toes are still engaged, pointing upwards towards the ceiling. Avoid the temptation to collapse, to turn further. Keep straightness. And take a couple more breaths here. And your next exhale, gradually release the arm, place the foot where it was, send that leg back out, and bring the right foot in, pick it up and take it past the left thigh. Have a little wiggle, find a nice central position. Take the right hand around behind you and reach forward to the left to then fold past that thigh, the elbow past the right knee, reaching up to twist a little bit more deeply, looking past your shoulder, or however feels comfortable for you. I often find at this point I've forgotten about my other foot, so make sure it's still pointing upwards, everything's engaged. Try breathing in to reach up and out to find your twist. And one more breath here. On your next exhale, let go of all that. Bring the feet back out in front. Now going to find Sukhasana again, that easy pose from the start. So you might like to take any adjustments or props which you took the first time round. And here we're going to find Parivrtta Sukhasana, so another form of twist, this time in this position which we've already met. So bring the left hand around behind you, let the right hand reach forward and then come past the left thigh, growing up tall to twist round again. Without forcing anything, you might find it's even a little easier than the last time. You can let the gaze be soft. You don't have to worry about your toes here. And although Sukhasana is known as easy pose, there's often plenty to think about in it. Really notice the different sensations. How does it feel in your shoulders, in the middle part of the spine, in the lower part of the spine? I invite you to relax and let go of that. Come back to centre. Bring the gaze forwards. Let the spine be neutral. Now bring the right hand around behind you. Reach with the left arm and bring that hand past the right thigh, growing taller, and then turning to twist. Make sure this leg doesn't rise up. You're not compromising on your easy Sukhasana in order to find a good twist for you today. Not every posture feels the same on every day. Part of the exercise of switching off from the outside world is really noticing what it authentically feels like for you today in this place without judgment. Gently let go and come back to centre, finding that neutral position again. For the final posture of the class, I'd like you to bring your hands around behind you for Yoga Mudra. You might simply join the fingers together. If you can reach, you might like to hold opposite elbows. Sit nice and tall. Draw the abdomen into the spine to support you here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, gradually fold forwards, hinging from the hips. Noticing how this feels. Don't need to go any deeper than feels right for you. You can use a block to support your head here. If you'd like to come deeper, you can. When you've found a good position for you, I'd like you to repeat that exercise of counting Zazen just for 5 breaths in your own time. On the next inhale, gradually coming back up to seated. Trying to keep a nice long back throughout. Letting go of the arms, bringing them back round in front of you. Uncrossing the legs, bring the soles of the feet to the mat in front of you. Make sure your feet are fairly far forward. We're now going to come into Shavasana, the rest at the end of our class. You might like to lift your arms to gradually roll down to the mat, or you can simply come and find a sideways posture, relax down, whichever works for you. Now again, if you've been having back pain recently, you might prefer to keep the soles of your feet on the ground and the knees lean in towards each other. You might like to lengthen the legs, but to have a little blanket under the knees just to take a bit of pressure out. Let the arms relax naturally by either side, palms facing upwards. And we're going to repeat the counting Zazen exercise to allow us to come a bit deeper within for this final resting part of the class. So first of all, counting 10 breaths, just like at the start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'd like you to count 5 breaths. This time, you can keep that inside your own mind, quietly in your own natural pace. And finally, to start off the rest of the silent part of Shavasana, I'd like you to simply count each breath with the number 1. Keep returning to each inhalation, counting for 1. you find your mind floating off and thinking about things, about day-to-day matters, don't be cross with yourself. Just bring your attention back to the simple practice of counting 1 for each breath. And if you find that you can still even that and really bring everything inwards and find total peace and rest, then please do just enjoy the silence. Now I'd like you to gradually start noticing the sounds around you again. And bring a little bit of movement into the body, perhaps moving the fingers, reaching them out, wiggling the toes a little bit, bending the knees to bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and then rolling over onto whichever side you prefer. So if you can push yourself very gently back up to that Sukhasana position. Bring your hands back onto the thighs, palms upwards. Thank you very much for joining me for this class. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope the rest of your day goes really well. Thanks.